See if she sings.
What's going on, everybody? Today we are going to continue with our KTM 125 to 150 build. But before we get into that, I just want to give a quick thank you to Joshua at WolfMX for sending me all the parts for this 150 build. And he also helped me out a ton with my 125. I ran his mapping on my 125, and I also ran the Doma exhaust system, which by far the best exhaust system that I've run on my 125. But anyway, thank you again. I've been having an absolute blast on this bike, and I can't wait for spring to really get out and rip this thing. We're getting into some more important things with the 150 build, and we're going to be checking things like deck height, and we're going to be taking some parts from the 125 cylinder and putting them into the 150. So thanks again for watching, and don't forget to go down into the description. I'm going to have a Facebook group linked that Joshua owns. Tons of good information on there about the 125s, 150s, 250s, 300s. And there's also my Instagram down below if you want to check that out.
Go ahead and remove this guy. Or hose. I'm just going to pull the whole section. Just because otherwise it'll be in our way.
This is our Moto hose, T-hose, the blue piece here. And that will replace the stock T-hose. And I replaced that in my other top end video. That's a nice part because the stock T-hose will leak.
And I'll start on the side. Take our tire valve cover off here.
Just this one bolt, and then push out and up, and it'll come off.
There, pull this down and out, I guess. Push this tab out. Perfect. Swing this out of the way. So it's just these two bolts now because we already have this bottom bolt that will hold the cover and the motor on there. And this guy, just pop off. Boom. Just gotta loosen it up. There we go. I just have these two on the side. Alright. That's blocky. Stay covered. And also line just in here. This is going to be a little negative, so you gotta get a good pull. Here we go. Get the bolt off the head, so just loosen up.
Okay.
Our rod slides in, or up and down, so if you slide it all the way down, it'll make it a little easier to pull the cylinder off. Nope. Out.
And before we do anything else, get some clean rags in here.
And just seal off that crankcase because once you get something in there, it's not as much fun getting it out.
Now we just have our inner head here. Put our plug in there. Give us something to kind of wiggle on. There we go. Now she's off. Just trying to be gentle with it. So we're going to take both of these power valve covers off on both sides.
Just on the left side, right side.
This one's Loctited in, so it might be a little tough. Some pliers. And this other side should push out. And this other side has the shaft. And then we we have this one. And on the stop, you guys, there's the adjuster here. I'd recommend you just leave it as it is. And then we just have a T25 that holds the sub port. Yep. And this guy will pop out with our sub port, and we can probably wipe that off. And then should be good to go for this side. And then we just have the same stuff on this side. And then we have to pull our crankcase pressure sensor. I'm gonna spray a little soapy water here. Hopefully help this boot slip off a little bit. There we go, got it off. So that should be all we need from our 125 cylinder. And now we'll pull our circlips out. Just some needle nose pliers. Here's one. And again, important to get your rag under there because these circlips will go shooting. And then the other one on the other side. Now I put the 10 on my T-handle and just shove it on through. There we go. There's our piston. And then we'll get our wrist pin bearing off. And now we'll start putting our power valve back together. I also have a little grease I'll put in here, just to keep everything nice and lubed up. So we'll start with our sub ports in here, and we'll get a little grease on the O-ring, make sure it slides good, and then we'll get our holder, and then we're gonna put a little Loctite on there, not too much, just a little. And these will be at 4.4 foot-pounds or 54 inch-pounds roughly. There we go. And then we'll do the other side. Same deal. Little grease on the O-ring. It's looking good. As you can see, this side's flat. That'll go down. And this side goes up. Really just a real tiny drop of it. That might even be a little much. Then we have these guys. Same deal. Real tiny amount of Loctite. And this one is 5.9 foot-pounds, or I'm just gonna go to 70 inch-pounds. There we go. Operates good. And this side will be your stopper for the power valve. Now these two should operate together. This shaft in here. So here we go. Whoop. There we go. That is installed. And we'll just double check. Open and closed. So what I'm looking for is, as we open, sorry, I'll try and get it to focus. This is power valve all the way open. And here would be your closed position. And it'll rest about here. And then as we open, sub port opens all the way. And then your tongue. So that side is good. And then we just have this side. Ready for this side, because we already have that side lined up. But this will only pop on in a certain position. But yep. And make sure that these are even. Pretty close. Just double check that your supports are opening on each side at the same time. And then we can put our bolts in. So this one's the same torque spec. Perfect. Just double check everything's sliding. Yep. Perfect. And now we should be able to put our covers back on. I'll just put these. Okay. I'll put them in. I guess in place. You're snug? Yep. Alright. Now, we're gonna put our crankcase rubber piece on. And for that, I'm gonna just go for a little soapy water. Just try and get it all around there. Get my pliers. Kind of wiggle, wiggle. There we go. Just a little further. Just check that it's flush all the way around here. Check the little nipple on the top here. Goes into the little hole on the cylinder. This runs right back and forth a little bit. Make sure we get any little particles that are down there. I'll remove it. Spread all the ports. There we go. So I have one circlip in. Then we put our wrist pin bearing in. And our wrist pin. Perfect. Wrist pin slides in. There we go. The arrow on this end goes to the exhaust side, and then your ring gap will be on the intake side. And then being real patient, I'm gonna try and orient this at 12 o'clock. Perfect. Make sure it's all the way seated in there. Check this a million times because these circlips are cheap, and if you learn
like me, they end up costing you a lot of money. And now I'm gonna pull the gaskets off with a flathead screwdriver. Just be real gentle. Not really gentle with these seals so much as just the crankcase, not to gouge it. Seals don't really matter, we're getting new ones anyway.
Yeah.
I have the old gasket here, and I'm just gonna measure roughly the size of it. So, zero it. Roughly 80. Being that it's a different cylinder, it's not always gonna be exact, but we can give it our best guess. So I'm gonna throw this 50 on at least. It should be about 1/2 millimeter. Again, you guys, stacking these is not a problem. I've done that 3 times now, never had a leak or any other issues that would have been caused by this. So stack them. This is a 0.3 millimeter gasket. And now we'll put our piston at bottom dead center, and we'll get our cylinder on. And we'll just get even more oil in here. Coat the piston a little before you put it in the cylinder. And I'll just rotate this a few times and get some of that oil going. And now we'll put our cylinder nuts on and we'll tighten them down. Not too ready. Hello. We just might be right on the money with this one. I'll show you how we measure. So what we have here is our Wolf MX deck height tool, and we use this by putting it across our cylinder. And this tool will work for the 125 and the 150. And obviously there's going to be a separate tool for the 250, and I'm not sure if the 250 and the 300 share the same tool or not, but here we go. And you guys, we don't need this to be super tight, just tight enough. There we go, bottomed out. Checking this, we need to have feeler gauges, and now we'll go off of top dead center, back up, and right there. I can't really pull this feeler gauge in between if I'm at exactly top dead center, right about there. So the clearance is just a little less than 0.004 thou, which is perfectly fine with me. I'm looking for either between 4 thou and just absolutely 0. So at 4 thou, you're gonna have the best top end performance. And being that this is an XC, I'm kind of just gonna go for the in-between, between dead on and 0.004. So I'm gonna call that 2 thou, which I'm happy with. If your measurement is outside of obviously 4 thou and just dead on, then you'll need to put in different gaskets for the height. So if you have too much clearance, then you'll need thicker gaskets, and if you don't have enough, then you'll need thinner gaskets. And thankfully, I actually got it first try, so that's pretty unusual. Usually I'll spend about, you know, a half hour getting this thing just right. And then we also have our insert. And on our insert, we're gonna put a little oil as well. Boom. Perfect. Now for our insert, we're gonna be putting all new crush washers on every single bolt. Just to double check you guys, make sure that none of them are sitting on the bolt holes, because they will either sit on the bolt hole or they will sit on the bolt, and you might have to just knock them off. And then we gotta check that this front is facing forward. There we go, slides on. New crush washers on the bolts. So now we're just gonna tighten down the head. The torque spec is 13.3 foot-pounds. So I'm at about 160 inch-pounds on my little torque wrench here. Now we'll torque in a crisscross pattern. I'm not gonna go all the way tight on them quite yet, just get them all snug down, because you want even pressure across the head. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, perfect. You got a fresh spark plug going in. This is a 9 heat range. Don't forget your little boot. And that's why. Wasn't expecting it that quick, but. So we might need to take the bike and just lean it over. Let some of the air come out.
So I'll take the bike, keep standing up, lean it all the way over. Get the chase. And back up. And we'll see. Should got a few more bubbles out of the system. Yep, a little more space in there. And you can expect this will take you a few tries to get everything. And pretty much the top again.
As you can see. Then we'll lean her over. And what we have in here is my stock ECU. I've had this thing remapped for the 125, big help, and now it'll be mapped for the 150. All right, so we got most of our other parts on that we need. There's really just a few more parts that we got to put on this bike, and a few more little adjustments we need to make. So here's my Git ECU. Wonderful on a 125, but we're still on the stock ECU for now. There you go. We got our click, pulls out. Then we have our stocker to go in. And then our stock ECU will go in this side up. And then you just twist, click, and put it on the little tabs here. Now, since we had to rebuild the power valve, we're gonna have to reprogram the endpoints, which you should do every once in a while anyway. Reconnect our battery. We're gonna take our connector and we're not gonna plug it in, but we're just gonna slide it in there. And with our throttle, we're gonna find about halfway. Right about there. And you heard the power valve go off, and we're ready to go now. Unplug, and we'll plug it back in, and we'll switch the map, and then we'll unplug it, and then we'll do the same thing, about half throttle. There you go. Might take you a couple tries to get it just about halfway. Took me a good number of tries, but we'll cut all that out of the video. So we reset both maps. You heard the power valve open and close a few times, and now we should be pretty much ready to start it. We'll get our gas tank back on. We got our silencer on, full of coolant. Only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the spark plug wire off and just turn it over a few times, make sure everything works. Double check your throttle. Learned that the first time. Snaps forward and back. We'll get our plug on, see if she sings. All right, she's running. That's exciting. But I think I'm gonna go throw a coat on because it's snowing outside, and I'll go rip this thing up and down the driveway. What you think, Jaxie?